Months ago, I gave you some predictions for McCarthy, Trump, DeSantis, and Biden. So now am I feeling prophetic or do I regret it?
Can you see the future?
No regrets.
This is Not My Party. Brought to you by the Bulwark. Even just last week, I told you for the government to stay open, Kevin McCarthy would have to risk pissing off MAGA Republicans by getting votes from his Democratic colleagues.
Well, look who it is.
I thought if he did that, the MAGAs might try to overthrow him as Speaker. And in the end, that's what happened. He got more votes from Dems than he did from Republicans, and the crisis we were worried about was averted.
Prophetic.
But I also got a little snarky, suggesting that Kev would be too big of a coward to actually stand up to the MAGAs like he ended up doing.
Regret it.
So this week, Matt Gaetz gave Kevin the old high forehead and called for a vote to remove him as Speaker.
I rise to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. Resolved that the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives is hereby declared to be vacant.
And this time it actually worked. For the first time in history, a speakership was vacated.
The office of Speaker of the House is hereby declared vacant.
Kevin angered the right flank, so they made him walk the plank.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
As for the presidential contenders, back in April, when I broke out the Not My Party meter, I argued that only 3 people had a real chance to win the next election: Biden, Trump, and DeSantis, much to many of our viewers' dismay.
Is that the best we can do?
Unfortunately, yes.
At the time, we gave Biden a 45% chance to be reelected. The rationale was that none of his existing primary opponents were serious, and the idea that a legitimate Democratic candidate would emerge to challenge him was always a DC fantasy.
Once upon a dream.
So the only reason he wasn't actually above 50% is his ticking biological clock. Well, Biden hasn't Benjamin Button since April, so his odds remain exactly the same as they were then.
Prophetic.
With Trump and DeSantis, we expected there to be a real race, giving Trump the edge with a 25% chance of winning the next election. And not too far behind him, we gave DeSantis 20%.
Regret it.
Since then, well...
You are a sad, strange little man.
As things stand today, Trump is winning this primary in an unprecedented landslide. And this is not at all like recent campaigns that I've worked on where there were big comebacks. McCain and Obama were both trailing pretty bad in the national polls at this time during the 2008 race, for example. But the Republican field was in shambles that year with no clear leader, certainly nobody with Trump's cult-like following. And Obama was gaining slowly but surely on Hillary throughout that race. Plus, he had a compelling personality, unlike Tiny D and Obama's opponent in that race, who was described as merely,
You're likable enough,
Thank
Hillary.
you.
Brutality.
so there would be no precedent for a DeSantis comeback. And none of the other candidates in the Republican field can even consistently crack double digits in the polls. Instead, I'd move Trump from a 25% chance to be president to a scary 45%, or dead even with Biden.
Oh, it's terrifying.
And I'd move DeSantis and the rest of the Republican field from 20% down to 5%, right next to Kamala. Both would require acts of God, or in one case, the judicial system, to get the nomination.
One can hope.
So while I misjudged a few of the particulars, the big picture remains as prophetic as it is puzzling. In a country of 300 million people, we can't come up with a single Republican who can actually manage the House of Representatives. And for president, we're destined to have our only choices be a competent incumbent 82-year-old and a deranged 79-year-old former president next fall. USA!
I can't wait. I can't wait.
We'll see you next week for more Not My Party. For more episodes of Not My Party, smash that subscribe button. And scan right here to subscribe on Snapchat, where you can get the episodes first and all the Not My Party content you desire.